I met Martin in Fort Worth, Texas at a Legacy of Legends clinic. I had a few questions to ask him, and Martin said, you know, let's carry this across to your hotel room. And these are things that I heard Tom Dorrance say to me that I haven't heard anyone else say. Tendons in a horse's jaw, a horse eating grass in order to relax, and things that I knew took place neurologically in the horse's brain, I would get corroborated by Martin's experiences with colts. I knew that I needed to talk to somebody who had seen hundreds and thousands of colts and things that were replicated time and time again, and Martin could give me that. Empirical evidence. What do you observe? And high numbers. And what I could give Martin was really a language to explain chemically what was going on in the horse. So one thing built on another, we found we had so much information that we decided to share that publicly. And thus the book was born. I think brain functioning in the horse and the fact that brain functioning is different in a horse than in humans, and we can't necessarily compare the two, and how all the senses work in the brain. The horse's ears, the information that comes in through the eyes, balance, coordination. A lot of these things are assumed, but it's very difficult if you search for neurologically how that plays out in the horse's brain. So what we've tried to do is capture reactions not just in words, not just in scientific jargon, but in Martin's language of the cowboy and in illustration, so people could actually see what we're talking about. So we think, or at least our efforts were to provide a language with several key topic areas like I just discussed, and make it as accessible as possible to a wide public. I think that tradition plays a strong role in the horse world in general by saying, well, this is what we've done for 50 years. Doesn't mean it's right. You can do something wrong for 50 years. And as science advances, a lot of our answers are in science. So thus evidence-based horsemanship. So it's really striving to get people to look for the evidence. What supports this, and is the knowledge good knowledge? The internet now is filled with knowledge that people can track down, but it has to be applicable. And so really what we're striving for is, what's the proof? How do we know that this is better for a horse? And we try to back each of those statements up with science. In fact, a woman asked me to comment on what I thought of a study on horses, and I said, well, I haven't read the study, and it seems to make sense theoretically, but this is evidence-based horsemanship, and I can't address it if I can't support it with science. So I think what I think has been missing all along is a strong scientific backing for neurological functioning in the horse. My specialty as a neuropsychologist is brain functioning, and I've been doing that for decades now. And I know very well how the brain operates. Things people were telling me about the horse did not make neurological sense. The horse has two brains, or giving a horse a pop psychology quiz and determining their personality type. I know there aren't areas in the horse's brain to do that. So I began to dissect horse brains and follow the connections through. And I then used Martin to corroborate some of that. I also went to a lot of university veterinary programs and asked them, does this make sense? I know it makes sense from a human standpoint. Does it make sense from an equine standpoint, and they said yes, yes it does. But what drove me as a human neuropsychologist is just I knew brains, and what I had seen described in horses did not match that picture.